Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to Views on the News.
Was the Pope appealing for peace or was he praying for peace?
And the same applies to the carry-on drag.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what do you have to say about that, guys?
And as you know, we're an international team of a panel of opinionated people, people who have wisdom and wit. And so today we have joining us Guy Otten from Manchester.
Hello.
We are the only two Englishmen on the show tonight. How the devil are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah.
Good. It's nice to have some support. We've also got Dean from South Africa. Welcome, Dean. How the devil are you?
Hi, good evening. Fine and dandy.
Good. Yes, I like that. Yes. And we have Aldo, who is from the Chicago area of the US of A. And he's our official Cuban connection. So welcome, Aldo. How the devil are you?
Thank you. Good. Recuperating from the election, but good.
Good. Yeah, recuperate. It's going to take a while, that is, isn't it? I mean, we sympathize with you. And then we a new girl. Hello, Sylvie from Texas. How the devil are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good. Yes. Well, Sylvie has been a guest on our Free Thought Hour show. On our Free Thought Hour show in the not too distant past, and I can recommend her as a truly lovely person. However, this is the show where I have to guys having a tussle with gravity.
It was balanced too precariously.
Yeah. I have to force
The way you jerked, I thought it was an earthquake, but
okay. And we don't
really have earthquakes in the UK.
Actually, we have several hundred earthquakes a year, but they are so tiny nobody notices.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, I've got to force you to express your views on the news, and it is quite a lot about England at the moment because. Well, I think it's probably best if I start by showing you this video because you'll get the picture. And unfortunately, it's quite a long video, but I think it's worth watching. Take a look at this. We're worried about this because we have mosques all over the country and the imams deliver their sermons in Arabic or some other language that we don't understand, and they're enabled to get away with stuff that you and I, Guy, wouldn't be allowed to say. We would be pulled up for hate speech. So take a look at this.
Now, Israel's war on Hamas has sparked suspected hate preaching in some of Britain's mosques. A Talk TV investigation today reveals footage of preachers in several mosques calling for Jews to be killed and Israel to be destroyed.
Now, we have handed the dossier of evidence to police, and officers from three forces are now actively investigating. Holly Hudson has this exclusive report, which comes with a warning that some viewers may find its content offensive.
Allahu Akbar.
A sermon at the Redbridge Islamic Centre in Ilford. The speaker prays with his congregation in Arabic to curse the Jews and the children of Israel. Talk TV had the recording translated twice independently. It's voiced by an actor.
O Allah, curse the Jews and the children of Israel. O Allah, curse the infidels and the polytheists. O Allah, break their words, shake their feet, disperse and tear apart their unity, and ruin their houses and destroy their homes.
And from London to Liverpool.
If the 2 billion just marched on Israel, it's all over. You spot in the direction of Israel, 2 billion, it's all over.
To Birmingham.
The stones will speak and say, "Oh Muslim, behind me there is a Yahudi, come and kill him."
Preachers at mosques across Britain have been filmed calling for victory for Hamas.
Oh God, heal our hearts regarding the usurping Jews and in every enemy of you and the Muslims. Oh God, limit their number, kill them indiscriminately, and do not leave any of them alive. Oh God, our Lord, disperse them, weaken their strength, shake the ground beneath their feet, and freeze the blood in their veins. Make them captive to the Muslims.
And stoking hatred against Jews and Israel with alarming anti-Semitic rhetoric.
O Revenger, revenge from the oppressive aggressor occupying Zionists. O Allah, shake the earth beneath them. O Allah, limit their number, kill them indiscriminately, and do not leave any of them alive.
Rhetoric that in some cases is as violent as that of Abu Hamza, the known hate preacher who delivered sermons at Finsbury Park Mosque before it was shut down and who was deported from the UK. In Greenwich, this speaker ended his prayers with calls for Allah to grant victory over the enemy. The Met said while it understands the footage raised concern in Greenwich, no offences had been committed there. Jewish groups, though, say that police aren't doing enough and are calling for prosecutions in some cases, warning that some of these sermons could lead not only to hate crime, but extremism and even terror.
There is no difference between the rhetoric in the Hamas Charter and the rhetoric that is on display in these videos. They are utterly hateful, they are violent, and they are a threat to both Jews and non-Jews in this country. There is a real risk of more than just one person being encouraged by this rhetoric to go out and take action on the streets. And we've seen how bad that can be in the past.
Talk TV has confirmed that police are assessing video evidence from 4 of the 7 mosques we've highlighted. The Charities Commission is also examining some of the footage, as the majority are also linked to registered charities, meaning they receive taxpayers' money. In a statement, they said, "We are aware of a significant number of serious concerns, which largely concern allegations of anti-Semitic or hate speech. We're assessing them, and if there has been any wrongdoing, we'll take action." Talk TV reached out to all of the mosques and figures featured in this report. Redbridge Islamic Centre declined to comment directly to us, but previously said it launched an immediate investigation and decided that the imam will not be allowed to address worshippers again until it's concluded. No other mosques responded.
Well, as you can see, Tersia has joined us. Welcome, Tersia. But as you can also see, I'm old. So and my parents, they're sadly dead now, but they wouldn't have recognized the scenes in those videos as being England.
I mean, the reality is that all this material is embedded in Islam, in the Quran and in the Islamic scriptures. It's nothing new. And it's been a problem for a long time. And we do have a double standard here. The Muslim preachers are allowed to get away with this stuff. Whereas when anybody else criticizes it, they're liable to be accused of hate speech themselves. And I myself have been cancelled from a political party for raising these kind of issues. So this is a big problem in the UK. We need to have one law for all, and we need to insist that Islam gets rid of all of this stuff if it's to remain a charitable religion. Otherwise, I think certainly charitable status needs to be removed, and further steps need to be taken to somehow limit or curb this very harmful and dangerous activity.
So should we be worried about this?
I think we should. We should be extremely worried, because a whole generation of people, and not the first generation, are being taught to hate Jews, and regard infidels, that's us, as sort of scum, and people to be conquered, because this is embedded in Islam. This is the problem with Islam. This is why we've made such a huge error historically. Sorry to go back to history, to allow large numbers to enter our countries.
We don't mind them coming, but what we don't want is their religion.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Wait a minute. I bet these are Shiite Muslims, and Sunnis aren't, like this. And I don't think you can just say, well, look, globally, the whole religion is like this. Not every imam is saying this. A couple were. There. I don't know how many mosques are in, but let's say 1,000. You got 5 that you have somebody saying something. You got 995 that aren't. I don't think you can, jump on the whole religion because of what 5 people say. What I think is, and John alluded to this at the beginning, you don't know what they're saying because you don't speak the language. So what this would indicate to me is you need to have somebody in there that speaks the language, or you need to have a microphone or something so we understand what they're saying, or they say something that are against the laws of the country.
Well, I disagree with that, Aldo. I mean, I would say that the Ahmadis are probably the one small sect in Islam that I'm aware of do not, preach this sort of stuff, although they still have the Quran. But the vast majority of Sunnis, as well as Shia, they do it, and it varies according to their schools and their traditions. Some of them are, don't go on about it so much, and others do. And certainly, every Muslim is aware of this stuff. And the problem is that even though they don't necessarily go along with it, they are kind of condoning or implicitly supporting it by not rebelling against it. And of course, they can't rebel against it without incurring apostasy accusations themselves, which are very dangerous for them.
Can I?
So go on.
What I want to say, maybe this will give some enlightenment onto the topic, and everybody knows that I will never be an apologist for Christianity, but it is, and it should be acknowledged, I don't think it can be denied, that the emphasis in preaching from the Quran on those vile, horrific, horrible passages, it's undeniable. And if I can use an analogy, in the Christian Bible, there are equally vile passages. But Christianity has somehow progressed to the point where, as far as possible, preachers try to avoid those passages, and they try to focus on the ones that preach love and compassion. And many Christians don't even know that those vile passages are in the Bible. But in Islam, it's just the opposite. So I don't know whether there are passages about love and compassion, especially not love and compassion for those who are different, or who are, I don't know if there's an enemy like love, a passage like love your enemies in the Quran. But it's undeniable that the Quran is a violent book, and that Muslim imams take pride in preaching the violence.
Yes.
That is undeniable.
Yeah.
And
So,
I want to use Christianity as an analogy to show that it can be done differently.
They all preach violence.
Sylvie, you want to speak, because I don't know whether you have this sort of problem in Texas, but have a say.
American Christianity and what you're seeing from, I guess it's a more extremist wing of Islam in the UK, are pretty much, as far as their rhetoric, one and the same. There are plenty of preachers. They have big followings, big YouTube channels. They get billions of dollars into their coffers every year. Their targets are slightly different. They're against Islam and Jews and anybody else who is not in the tribe. And and some of them are calling for violence, and nothing is being done because our Constitution says, well, they give freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and all that. But what happens is if an imam from a mosque anywhere in the United States got found out that he was saying these types of things from his pulpit,
her connection is broken again, I'm afraid.
Oh dear.
So Aldo, I saw you applauding her. So tell us about that.
because it's these, you know, I consider it the same thing that that the Christians here are just as radicalized or extremist as Muslims. But I guess from American mentality, well, you can say anything you want. I mean, the American ideal is until you actually commit a crime, or somebody acted on, as the case of the girl that we were speaking of, then they can really say all they want. And as far as what these guys are saying, no, because what you're telling somebody is go out and kill somebody, and I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, it's not acceptable, is it? No.
No,
So,
I mean, it isn't. But then what I would do is I would arrest them. I would say, is this in the Quran? Where is it in the Quran? If they are in it, if there's something in the Quran that says go out and kill Jews, I don't think there is. I haven't read the book.
Yeah. There is. It's
there is, unfortunately, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They say go kill Jews?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
What about
It's not only Jews.
What
Not
about in
only
Cape
Jews.
Town, Dean? Do you have Muslims in mosques?
We do have a Muslim population, John, but I mean, the first thing that pops to mind here is, look, I'm all for freedom of speech, but I have to put the caveat there that this does not give you the right to, say whatever you want to. You should have the right to speak your mind, but you should not have the right to be free from the consequences of your speech.
Yeah.
If your speech incites a mob to go and commit some heinous act, then you should have some form of liability, for those actions. But I would urge, caution here with this Muslim population that you have in the UK, because this is a strategy, and when Muslims are few, you will find that they approach a country or a territory in a very submissive manner. But as soon as Muslims realize that they have the majority, then all bets are off, and it becomes there becomes a very, very strong insistence upon the culture that they are occupying to
Sharia law.
Before long you're going to have everybody wearing burqas, but the thing I jest, but this is the unfortunate reality of it. It is a totalitarian religion, and it's not Muslims that are the problem. The problem is Islam.
Yes,
Islam is the problem, not Muslims.
So this is not the only thing that's going on in the news at the moment, though, because in Palestine, where you would think they have enough going on, there's a preacher at the Al-Aqsa Mosque who's insisting that Muslims will take over France and force French people to bow down to Islam. He wants to impose Islam on the entire world and to enslave Christian women under Sharia law. Take a look at this.
Totalitarian.
2050 يعني سيكون مثلا عدد المسلمين في فرنسا أكثر من الفرنسيين، ولكن نحن يعني خلينا نقول لا نعول على أن مثل هذه الأرقام هي التي ستحول هذا البلد إلى بلد إسلامي. الذي نعول عليه بأنه لابد أن يكون هناك دولة للمسلمين. هذه الدولة تحمل الإسلام هداية ونور بالجهاد في سبيل الله عز وجل، تحمل هذه الرسالة وهذه الرحمة إلى الناس. وبالتالي عندما يرى الناس عدل الإسلام ونور الإسلام وهدى الإسلام ورحمة الإسلام، فيدخلون في دين الله عز وجل أفواجا من خلال دولة تحمل الإسلام عن طريق الجهاد في سبيل الله عز وجل. منذ فترة قريبة وليست بالبعيدة ننظر بأن المسلمين فتحوا قبل 400 سنة فقط في ظل الدولة العثمانية، فتحوا بولندا، النمسا، وأصبحت على أسوار فيينا دولة الإسلام عاصمة النمسا، ورفع فيها الأذان، ودول الاتحاد السوفيتي كانت جميعها تحت ظل الدولة الإسلامية، بلاد القوقاز وما وراءها، حتى سنة 1644 كان المغول المسلمون يحكمون الصين. في سنة 1526 فتح المسلمون المجر. في 1586 كانت الهند تحكم بالإسلام. إذن يعني هذا بدلل على إيه؟ على أن هذه الأحداث تنبئ أنه بمقدور أمة الإسلام أن تعود كما كانت، وأن يعني تنشر دين الإسلام بإذن الله عز وجل. فإذن القضية بأنه سينشر سلطان الإسلام على العالم كله بإحدى ثلاث: الإسلام أو الجزية، أو نستعين بالله عز وجل ونقاتلهم حتى يخضع العالم جميعا لسلطان الإسلام.
There you go. He's unashamedly expressing the intention to dominate the planet.
Yeah, I mean, that is basic Islamic theology, and we need to be aware of it.
Yeah.
It's the mercy of Allah. It's the mercy of Allah. I mean, it's the mercy of Allah that Allah, God willing, will rule the world. I just sincerely hope that I'm not in it when Allah rules it.
That's not mercy.
That whole
Exactly, but it's just it's so
I'm telling
ironic.
you.
How many times he said the word mercy, the mercy of Allah? I think the word mercy appeared about 4 times in that.
Yes, it means
in
nothing.
passage.
It means nothing. Yeah.
No, absolutely. It doesn't mean what you and I think it means.
No.
It is the mercy of Allah for the people, for devout Muslims. It's not mercy for you and I or
No, no.
anybody else.
Because we're going to be either killed or enslaved.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, Guy, I would say
Or
that
made to pay the jizya if you're a Christian or Jew.
Yeah.
all I can say is I'm glad we live in countries that have nukes and they don't.
No,
but we don't want to go
there
there.
are no
I mean,
apparently.
after hearing this guy, that's really it. That's really the bottom line, because that was insanity.
I don't recall who said it, but there was someone said that I heard it once said that the only way that Islam and Muslims will understand and grasp the concept of equality and universal human rights is to they have to experience in the same way that a cockroach experiences gravity under somebody's boot. It needs to happen by force. Yes. And this is the unfortunate reality of something that is so completely totalitarian. And I don't need to tell an audience like this where totalitarianism comes from. It is
where it leads.
We've experienced this in our recent history. So we should be chillingly aware of something that claims to be the total solution, the final solution to the problem.
Yeah. We have.
Isn't it interesting, though, that these people that are espousing these rhetorics, and they're saying mercy of God or God's will or whatever it is that they, however they frame it, it is always their point of view that is what's important, because God is it's just a prop.
Yes.
God has nothing at all to do with what these people want. These people,
I'm sorry, she's broken again.
Control. They want domination.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Well expressed, Sylvie. Yes, God is a prop.
Thank you.
That's all.
Yeah. And I would like to pick up on what Sylvie says there. It would be great if the militant Christians and the Muslims would just sit back and let God do his thing,
Yes.
Just sit back and let God take over the world.
Yes.
Then we'll all be safe, because
it always strikes me as very fortuitous how God's will always seems to align with those who claim to speak for him.
Yes.
It's amazing how that works.
Yes, absolutely. But it's a fact, I'm afraid, that people do believe that there is somebody who is all powerful in the sky and that they are doing his bidding.
Right.
Stupid though that seems. And I want to show you a very short video, because you may remember last week we were talking about there was a football match in Holland, in the Netherlands, and the visiting team was an Israeli team, and the Netherlands has quite a large Muslim population now, and so there was all sorts of horrible riots and opportunities for
violence.
Yeah, that's the word, violence going on. And although there's no football match this week, they liked it so much that the Islamists are now having an attack on the local population. Take a look at this.
الله الرحمن الرحيم من خالد بن الوليد إلى مرازبة فارس سلام على من اتبع الهدى فإما أن تسلموا وإما الجزية وإما الحرب وإلا فوالله لقد جئتكم.
They're demanding Sharia law, and they're flying flags from Hamas and Hezbollah and Al-Qaeda and all of the fundamental extremists of their religion. That's Europe.
Yeah, and we've allowed this to creep up and to happen, and we need to do something about it. And our politicians are not there because our politicians are incredibly woke and are trying to get every vote to support them. And so they're not going to threaten this canker that is in our society.
Yeah.
This is a
How
major problem.
do you boil a frog? You turn the water up slowly. You turn the heat up very slowly.
Yeah.
That's the only way to boil a frog with it staying in the pot.
Well, that's what they're doing to us.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Well,
if the EU said something, so it isn't a question of a vote of a country, but the EU making a umbrella legislation that you can't have hate speech, that you can't have Sharia law that is simply against the policies of the European Common Market if you're going to be in the market, in the Union. That might be the way to do it, but I think you need Europe needs to start to look for solutions now before they get outnumbered, and then democracy is lost.
Yeah. We need to put.
I think actually we have got adequate laws to tackle this. They're just not being enforced equally against them.
You need to sue the government for not enforcing the law. I mean,
we need to put our foot down and say, if you want Sharia law, go to a Sharia law country.
Yeah. But you see, the unfortunate reality is that those people who speak in opposition to this in Europe, from what I've gathered on the news cycles, always tend to be the way out right-wing whack jobs. They are the ones, like the Geert Wilders, and these are the guys that catch the news cycle. And people, especially the younger generation, I'm afraid I have to use the term, they have this whole woke culture where where things like this don't raise a red flag, and it's very concerning because you say to yourself, it's not that we're trying to police what people think and say and do, but our experience has highlighted that look here, the canary is dying in the coal mine.
Yes.
Pay attention. This is the canary that's dying in the coal mine. Wake up.
This is how Hitler started. Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Yeah. But they don't have it all their own way, because take a look at this video. This is a anti-Hamas Palestinian population.
شوف حماس بمزوق حماس يا رب يقتلوهم اليهود يا اليهود احسن منهم اليهود بعطونا اكل وبعطونا الدنيا وبيعملوا لنا الدنيا وبعطونا الطريق بامنه وايش يفضح ارضهم اليهود حماس اخذ ابني حماس اخذ ابني
العظيم ارهاب داعش اصعب من داعش. كس اختهم، كس اخت عظم سنوار، اخو شرموطه. طلعوا هذا حماس، طختنا حماس.
بس تاخدكم؟
حماس اخوات شرموطه هذول.
اخوك في الرجل؟
عشان كابونات بيسرقونا للشرموطه. كابونات فيش اكل عندنا، كل بيسرقوه كلهم بتخبوا اخوات الشرموطه. بقطر اخو الشرموطه بتكلم بياكلوا واحنا خد.
حسبي الله عليها حماس، ينتقم منها حماس. دمرونا، دمروا اطفالنا، دمروا بيوتنا. احنا كنا عايشين، احنا نهدى، انتوا حكمونا. بدناش حماس، كل الشعب بكره حماس. احنا مضطهدين من حماس كنا. الله ينتقم منك يا سنوار، الله يشحمك يا رب. ابرا
والله فرحت لما قتلتوا السنوار اللي دمر وقتل اطفالنا.
جد؟
والله العظيم زغرتت. انا عارف راح اطلع من هنا حماس التخنه. حماس راح التخنه. انا هلقيت شهيده.
عشان اللي حكيتي؟
عشان حكيت.
مش خايفه؟
لا مش خايفه، خلاص راح اللي إلي راح، ما ضل اللي يجي جراين عليه.
I don't think they're going to get elected again. Do you, Hamas? If they give
Was
people
that
the
an
opportunity.
Israeli news station?
No.
I mean, don't think Hamas rely on elections.
No.
Was the reporter from an Israeli news station?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Because I had to, take it with a grain of salt if they weren't handing out food after every interview or something.
Yeah.
It's difficult to know the truth of an awful lot that comes out of that place.
Yeah.
And every time, a bomb is dropped on a Hamas center, the Hamas spokesman talk about the women and children who are killed, but obviously don't talk about the fighters that are killed.
Yeah. Well, it's not only videos like that one, because there is one of the most prominent Islamic scholars in Gaza who has issued a powerful fatwa condemning Hamas's October the 7th attack on Israel.
Oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that. Hadn't heard that.
He's called Dr. Daya, and he published a detailed 6-page document criticizing Hamas for what he calls violating Islamic principles governing jihad.
Can all the Muslims just sit together and fucking sort this shit out and get back to us with like the true Islam? Because it's just getting a little bit,
45,000 Christian denominations, and they can get together. Why should the Muslims or any other group?
Yeah, I mean, no, that's true. But I mean, it's interesting that he didn't condemn the whole concept of jihad, which is holy war against infidels. He just said what they did wasn't in accordance with the requirements Islamic law of jihad.
The trouble is jihad got multiple meanings, and at its base level, it just means struggle.
Yeah, but in this context, it always means violence.
Yes, yes, indeed,
and murder.
For me, a starting point would be if Islam could, with all the claims that it makes, the peace, the unity of humanity, the empowerment of minorities, and all of these things, it has all of these implicit things that it claims. Making those claims, it needs to drop this demand of being immune to criticism and scrutiny, because that is the spark in the powder keg.
Yeah,
it really is. It's the second that you scrutinize or criticize something, it infuriates and inflames people's sensibilities. Like, what the fuck is up with that? I never got that.
No, they're snowflakes. They take offense, and we're not allowed to offend them. Ooh, no.
I mean, then you need to drop the claims. If you can't handle the criticism, stop making the claims.
Absolutely,
it's very simple. You can't on the one hand say we're a religion of peace and equality for everybody, and we empower people. but don't you dare fucking criticize us. I
mean, yeah, absolutely.
Nonsense, you know.
So it's not just in Israel, because a well-known Iranian human rights activist recently killed himself in protest at what he called the dictatorship of Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He's a guy called Kianush Sanjari, and he said he would take his own life if 4 political prisoners were not released by 7 o'clock at night on Wednesday. And so that morning he had written the names of these 4 political prisoners, and he said, if they're not released, I will end my life in protest against the dictatorship of Khamenei and his partners. And he did. And so before he died, he said he wished that one day he jumped off a building, a tall building. Yeah, tall building. And he said before he died, he said he hoped that, or he wished that one day Iranians would wake up and overcome slavery.
Ghastly.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
That is just terrible.
Would sleeping pills have been better?
Well,
I recall in protest of it was the Vietnam War, and this Buddhist priest set himself on fire.
Yes,
So,
I remember that. Yeah.
so you know, I think there are individuals that say, I'm going to bring attention to this by making the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
Showing how important it is to me. And I don't think that he had no reason to expect, and I wouldn't expect if a government made a decision that somebody could essentially blackmail them into not proceeding because they're going to kill themselves. I don't see that happening. What this does is bring awareness that somebody's values on this issue are so vital that they are willing to end their life to bring attention to this.
Yeah,
that is happening. That's how important it is, and I'm not willing to live in this environment unless this happens.
Yeah. Admirably principled, but fundamental governments are not going to take a blind bit of notice.
No, well, I mean, they probably won't, but it is a mounting pressure of demonstrations and opposition that undermines these totalitarian regimes, and suddenly they collapse. And we've seen that happen in various places.
Yeah.
And we just hope that this will happen before more people have to suffer and die. I mean, in the internet, there are various predictions that, people predicting that Iran is on the edge of about to be collapsing. And the same with Putin's Russia and so forth. Cuba, I don't know how much credence we can give to them.
Cuba, South Korea.
Yeah. There you go. So no rabbit holes. Sorry, guys, no rabbit holes.
I would just naming countries.
We have to ask the question: what fills the void, though? You know, whenever something falls, something's going to fill the void.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Putin is thrown out, he'll be thrown out by people like him who just don't like him, and they think they can do better.
We might get something worse. Yeah.
I've got some good
news. I've got some good news for the last few items of the show.
Please.
The Archbishop of Canterbury has resigned. He's resigned.
Yeah, I mean, that is good news. That is good news because it has thrown the church into a crisis.
Yes.
And, because they've been trying, or they say they've been trying to improve safeguarding for years and years.
Yes.
But they're just, it's like the Titanic. They can't really turn the institution around.
Exactly.
And maybe it will happen. But in the meantime, a lot of people's eyes are opened, and the church has continued to fall in popularity, so that now the devout church-going Anglicans are something like 2%. Or
and it won't stop. It won't stop with his resignation, because this report, which is the cause of his resignation, has named a number of other bishops. I think it's at least 6 other bishops and
church leaders
and other church leaders. So there will be more resignations, and it's all good.
and the good news is also that right now there is a bill going through Parliament which is designed to remove the hereditary peers from the House of Lords. I mean, this is just sorry, just close your ears for the moment. We still have hereditary peers in the House of Lords, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Anyway, and somebody is amending it, or trying to get it amended, with a view to removing the bishops as well, who are also unelected.
Good. Frock-wearing fraudsters need to be.
I mean, it is incredible that we have this constitution in this country.
I'm sorry, guys. This is not good news. But the amendment came up for discussion on Tuesday, I think, and it was not approved.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Excuse me, for those of us who don't know, what's a hereditary peer?
Right. It's a lord or duke or baron who has a title, not by reference to being made a life peer, but you know, he
by
is
birth.
By birth.
Yeah,
That's right. He inherits his title from his father usually.
Yeah.
And some of these people go back to the you know, to the conquest in 1066, but others were you know, did favors for kings in the past. It's all incredible.
No, I know how it works, but what does that gain you? What do you get? Do they pay you, or I mean?
Yes.
What? They pay you money for being a hereditary heir?
Well, they get money for turning up to Parliament.
Yeah. You get £300 a day.
What do you mean turning up? You mean do they have positions in Parliament?
No, they if they turn up, that is to say, attend a parliamentary session, they don't have to do any work, but just by being there, they get £300 or something.
Yes.
It's a daily rate, you know. I mean, if they don't bother to turn up at all, they don't get paid.
Do they get to vote?
Yeah.
Yes, but only in the upper house.
But I tell you something interesting, Aldo. There's only 92 of them allowed to actually attend the House of Lords out of about 700 or 800 altogether. And the reason there's only 92 allowed is that they elect 92. So actually these 92 hereditary peers are elected, but only by other hereditary peers. It's bizarre.
So this isn't democracy at all.
No, it isn't. That's right. Yes. We're stuffed, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy system, and we all know it's crazy, but we can't seem to get it shifted.
Yeah. So
it's
guys,
a little bit. It does remind me of the Electoral College in the United
exactly
States.
Similar to that in the States. That's absolutely.
But nobody has a special privilege in the electoral. It's a bad system, but it's not like one. You're just giving more power to a given, to a given state.
Yeah.
The only other country that has clerics in their upper chamber or in their legislature is apparently Iran.
Yes.
I was going to say.
I know. So, Guy, the MP that we chatted to last
Yes, Gavin Williamson. I didn't know that the amendment had fallen.
Sir Gavin Williamson.
Yeah.
His amendment was rejected.
Oh,
so it's back to square one. Anyway, to finish the show, we have got the announcement that on this very day, Tesco broke the Stornoway Community Council and the Isle of Lewis's tradition of respecting the Sabbath by opening their shop.
I know. I mean, everywhere else in England, we've had shops open on Sundays.
Yeah.
Basically for 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
But in the Isle of Lewis, which is a sort of bastion of Scottish Presbyterianism.
Yes.
They've resisted it.
Yeah. So finally, guys, and this is for the guys, really, for anybody who likes to see women walking around in their underwear. Take a look at this. That was in London. That was in London.
Oh, London.
And they were expressing solidarity with Ahu Dariyei, who last week was doing that in the compound of an Islamic university in Tehran. He objected to being forced to wear, a burqa or whatever they were trying to enforce her to wear, and she did that publicly by wearing her underwear, but then she was bundled into a car, so we don't know.
I understand she's been taken to a psychiatric unit.
Well,
I'm not sure if that's correct.
That's what the press said, or that's what they announced. But
yeah, let's hope she hasn't died in. Yeah, let's hope she hasn't died in police custody, which is wouldn't be a first. Yeah. Anyway, guys,
if I could ask a question of the group before we get signed off, John. 2 questions, not now but after the program.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep you on screen afterwards then. But this is the end. So thank you, guys. You've been wonderful. I've loved it. I hope you have too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Was the Pope appealing for peace, or was he praying for peace?
And the same applies to the carry-on drag.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what do you have to say about that, guys?